Want to know how to make the best deviled eggs? Discover 4 ways to do that in this video. And don't miss the bonus tip at the end, okay? Hey there, this is Veena from Patter Cake, the channel that's about baking and much more. A warm welcome to my channel. What's up, folks? Hope everything's going well for all of you. Well, today at Patter Cake, we are all set to make some delicious deviled eggs. What? Have I got some of you thinking, what the devil is this recipe about? But hold it, there's nothing sinister about them. The word deviled in the name is just a culinary term that means spiced up or flavored. So what we are making today are boiled eggs that are spiced up with some tasty ingredients to take the flavor up a few notches and make them super tasty. Okay? And I'm going to show you 4 ways to make these delectable treats. Now, deviled eggs are perfect for Easter, for the holidays, and even for parties as appetizers because they can be made in advance, refrigerated, and served even the next day if you want. But now, let's get started making some deviled eggs right here at Patter Cake. These 10 eggs I have here are at room temperature. So now, let me show you how to make deviled eggs from scratch, right from boiling the eggs. I know, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to boil an egg. It's so easy, right? But it's also easy to boil an egg incorrectly. And we can't take the risk of something like that happening today. Because to make perfect deviled eggs, you have to start with perfectly boiled eggs. So now let's see how to do that. When it comes to boiling eggs, some people put the eggs into room temperature water and then bring the water to a boil. Others, like me, bring the water to a boil first and then add the eggs to it. For me, adding the eggs to hot water works every time. In this pot, I have set water to boil on medium heat. I've added enough water to have around an inch or 2 of it above the level of the immersed eggs. I'll now add 2 teaspoons of salt to the water. This will make the whites of the eggs firmer on cooking them, prevent the white from pushing out of cracked eggs, and also make it easier to peel off the shell of the boiled eggs. Now that the water has come to a boil, let's reduce the heat to almost low. And carefully put the eggs into the water. The pot should be wide enough to let the eggs form a single layer at the bottom, like this. Let's now set the timer to 12 minutes. Cover the pot and let the eggs cook in the gently simmering water for 12 minutes. After 12 minutes, we'll plunge the eggs into an ice bath. Now, see this egg here? It had developed a crack. But like I had mentioned, the salty water kept the egg white from leaking out from the egg, which is why the water is clear and free of any egg white. Removing the eggs to an ice bath immediately stops the eggs from cooking any further and getting overcooked, and in turn prevents them from developing a greenish-grey color on the outer surface of the yolk. At this point, the chemist in me can't resist explaining the reaction that causes egg yolks to get discolored. Hope you'll find it interesting.
What happens is this. When eggs are overboiled, the sulfur in the egg white reacts with the iron in the egg yolk and forms ferrous sulfide, which is greenish-grey in color. But let me emphasize that despite their unattractive color, such discolored yolks are absolutely safe to eat. We let these eggs stay in the ice-cold water for around 15 minutes or till they are cool enough to handle. Now that the eggs have cooled down, let's peel them. I'll first tap the egg on the wider end where it has an air pocket under the shell. Then tap the other end. And after that, roll it gently using my palm till the shell develops cracks. And then peel off the shell, which will now come off without a hitch. You could dunk the egg in the cold water once or twice if necessary to ease the process and remove any tiny bits of eggshell. And here it is, a neatly peeled boiled egg. Let's peel all the eggs and set them to dry on a plate lined with an absorbent kitchen paper towel. It's now time to slice each egg in half. I'm done with the slicing. So now let's remove the yolk from each half. Let's gently pull back the outer white part of the egg and let the yolk pop right out into a mixing bowl. Here are our separated egg yolks. Let's mash them with a fork and crumble them as finely as possible. Let's now prepare our base filling from which we'll make 4 different deviled egg fillings. Let's now switch to using a spoon or spatula and first mix in 1/3 of a cup or around 5½ tablespoons of mayonnaise. You could also use eggless mayonnaise or replace the mayonnaise with sour cream or hung curd, which you could make by letting regular yogurt drain on a strainer for around an hour to remove the whey. We'll then also mix in 2 teaspoons of honey or else 1 teaspoon of powdered sugar, 1 teaspoon of lime juice or vinegar, 2 teaspoons of mustard or else half a teaspoon of ground mustard seeds, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And now we'll add a pat cake touch to this by mixing in 1 tablespoon of butter, salted or unsalted, to make the filling smoother and creamier. We'll now divide this base filling into 4 parts. With the first part, we'll make classic deviled eggs. To do that, we'll have to just add 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground pepper, black or white, to the base filling. Now the filling for deviled eggs can be piped into the hollowed out egg whites using a piping nozzle, preferably any kind of large star-tip nozzle, or just snipping off the corner of a plastic bag, or spooning it in using 2 teaspoons. Do whatever works for you. I'll snip off a corner of this plastic bag and then add the filling to it. And then pipe it into the egg white half. Let's add a sprinkling of paprika or Kashmiri chili powder over the filling and garnish it with a sprig of dill or coriander. How delicious does that look? With the second part of the base filling, let's make cheesy deviled eggs. Let's mix in 1½ tablespoons of grated cheddar cheese, and around 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground pepper. Now let's spoon this cheesy filling into some egg white halves, mounding it up slightly, and top it up with some grated cheese and chopped chives or coriander. Next, let's make some Mexican-style deviled eggs. To the base filling, we'll add 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of red chili sauce or any hot sauce like hot and sweet tomato sauce, and 1/4 teaspoon of crushed garlic. Let's spoon this into some egg whites and top it up with some chopped onion tossed in red chili sauce and chopped coriander. Finally, let's make some Indian-style deviled eggs. To this last 1/4 portion of the base filling, we'll add 1/4 teaspoon of chaat masala, 1 or even 2 teaspoons if you like of red chili sauce or any hot sauce, 1 tablespoon of finely chopped onion, and 1 tablespoon of de-seeded and finely chopped tomato. Like before, we'll spoon the filling into the egg whites. But this time, we'll top it up with some chopped onion, a coriander leaf, and a tiny piece of tomato. Here are all the deviled eggs we just made. Please remember that if you want to make just one of these 4 varieties with all the 10 eggs, then you'll have to add 4 times the quantity of the additional ingredients to the entire base filling. Certainly look tempting, don't they? Let's taste one.
I think I'll taste an Indian style one. It's creamy, the right amount of flavor, just perfect. Wow, these may be deviled eggs, but they sure taste divine.
And here's the bonus tip I promised you. If you want to serve the deviled eggs the next day, boil and shell the eggs and make the yolk filling in advance and store these in the refrigerator. But pipe or spoon the filling into the egg white halves the next day.
My grateful thanks to my daughter-in-law Laurel for all the behind-the-scenes help in getting everything ready for this video, and to my son Kaustubh for being my videographer. If you like this video, do give it a thumbs up. And please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be alerted each time I post a new video. Thanks for watching. Until we meet again, happy cooking!